around Elegushi Palace of Lagos State. While the crew and cameramen and their drones were seized, our correspondent and his cameraman were bruised and the team were prevented from taking their leave from the vicinity.
My people, for Elegushi Palace, the Dokpon Swan are rising news candidate. You know those people, they do news now, where they give us news, they'll come bring them up. They say they seize their camera, seize everything. They can't post one eye. Hey, this one now people where they call people where supposed they save us, so people where supposed they guide us. Now they call they treat all these people where be say they report news live because they no one made they capture what they happen for one police unit close to Palace, Elegushi Palace for there. They no one allow the world to see all the news and so that they do. They no one allow people to know. They no one allow the world to know, say, their yansh door open. You see election where they say they do today, they scatter everything. They scatter. Which country they do like that? Which country don't you see they don't do election once they post somebody where they report? How come? People, make I leave una, make I put the video. I don't forget to react to the video so that make the world see what they happen for this great white Greek country. Make they know, because I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed of the security agent. I'm ashamed of you. I'm gonna share realize the video, make una react. I go see una for the other one. Make I leave una, make una see the disgrace where they near mumuleze gmiya. I weep for my Nigeria, I weep for my green, white, green.
Around Elegushi Palace of Lagos State. While the crew and cameramen and their drones were seized, our correspondent and his cameraman were bruised and the team were prevented from taking their leave from the vicinity. As we speak, the situation is still very dicey, although a call has been made to the police to deploy a rescue team. And the Commissioner of Police in Lagos State has also been contacted and said he will swing into action.
They are taking us to where we don't know.
And of course, Arise News crew being attacked there. That's our cameraman, Aokbe. And of course, I can see a policeman with the drone that was seized earlier. I guess probably that has been retrieved in the hands of that policeman and in the hands of... Okay, we have information that it hasn't been retrieved so far. And we're appealing for the security personnel, the authorities to get involved and hopefully get our crew out of that current scenario. And earlier we were talking about this issue. Okay, all right. We still have NAOB of the Situation Room in Abuja. Ene, what are your thoughts on this? Our crew was attacked in Ikate Elegushi area of Lagos State, and we're witnessing this. Moments ago, we spoke with them, and just barely a few moments later, we're having this scenario. I'd like your thoughts on not only voter suppression, but attacks on the press as well.
This is very, very sad, very, very sad. When we issued a press statement yesterday, we talked about the protection of the press, the protection of all journalists that are covering, the election and the voters themselves, and to have this emitted to journalists is very, very sad. We had earlier in the day, I think, a similar issue occurred with Channel's reporters as well, and they had to call in the army. And so what is going on is not just about swinging into the into something and rescuing this personnel. Something should be done immediately because the location is known. And where are the police people? We're talking about the police environment. Lagos is a place where people are issuing threats and nobody is arrested. And I hope that they are seeing the consequences of what is happening. So they need to rescue them and rescue them fast. And we need the details of what is going on in Lagos, and the life of journalists cannot be jeopardized. You know, it's very, very sad how we look at, life, the quality of life for Nigerians.
All right.
Just going to watch it means transparency and accountability is not maintained. Because if everything is open, the press should have free access to everywhere. They are one of the heroes of this election, because when you look at voter education, a lot of voter education was not done, either by INEC, by political parties, by National Orientation Agency, and other people. The press are the ones that have been carrying on what is happening in Nigeria around this election. This is very, very sad. And we will hold the political actors and also the security agencies accountable. Where are the security agencies that were supposed to be manning that environment, and then the periphery, the monitors, where are the roving monitors? This is why they are giving room, and we say there is a compromise somewhere. Or is it you leave some people open and volatile to endanger people's lives? What of the police people that were, or the security agencies that were supposed to be there? What is going on?
All right, let's come to you.
We have to hold people accountable.
Okay, let's come to Dr. Oha here in the studio, because the reason why we mentioned this is, let's start it off on the basis of the fact that some 3 days ago, all right, Oba Saheed, talking about Elegushi, actually made a pronouncement that an Oro festival will be conducted from Wednesday into Saturday, and non-indigenous women should probably stay away for their own safety. We've seen these things, we've seen threats upon threats are being issued. And on the 25th of February, during the presidential election, that same particular polling unit, that same Obas Palace, we saw people get attacked. We saw vandalization of INEC materials, sensitive materials. And this is happening again. What do you make of all that has happened within this particular community, and what the police has probably not done to ensure that things like this do not repeat itself?
When I saw Oba at that polling unit, I have to be honest, I was worried. And two things played out. The Igbo man who spoke there said, all is fine. And then the Yoruba lady who spoke said, all is not exactly fine. I don't know if you recall.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, I said, who's telling the truth? Is there something that we're not hearing? But I couldn't comment at that time because we like editorializing their comments. So I think that the security person, the security agencies ought to have known that that is a potential flashpoint, exactly. Yes. And they ought to have deployed, their men to that place. So what we saw was, as you can see now, obviously, after the benefit of the fact now, is that it was the peace of the graveyard, which means all is well as long as all goes well in favor,
The quiet before
exactly.
the storm.
But if the results are not what they expect, then mayhem will be let loose. And I suspect that is what may have happened here. And I will hold no other person but the security forces responsible, because they had an adequate warning. And I don't see why the issue of Oro, yes, you may say traditional, all that, but I expected a bit of discretion. Yeah. A lot of, when you know there's election.
What about the role of the police in all of this? Because pictures that are just emanating that we've seen there, this particular policeman handling a drone equipment that belongs to Arise News. Yes. And the question will be asked, what is the role of the police in ensuring that not just the fourth estate of the realm being protected, but